Myself, Dr. Arjuna Gowda, Department of Physics, Government First Aid College, Hoskote. My topic is X-rays and its applications. Introductions. In the year 1895, a German physicist W.K. Rontgen discovered X-rays. X-rays are the electromagnetic radiations of wavelength 1 to 100 angstrom. They travel in straight lines like ordinary light. They can pass through many thin sheets of metals, paper, wood, etc. But they cannot pass in lead and bones. They destroy living tissues and produce biological effects. X-rays cannot be deflected by electric and magnetic field. X-rays have a high penetrating power. Their photographic film is blocked by X-rays. So this is Rontgen and the first medical X-ray photo here. This photo is Rontgen's wife's photo. Now, production of X-rays. How we are going to produce X-rays? X-rays are produced when fast-moving electrons hit a suitable target after being accelerated under high potential difference. This is Coolidge tube. Coolidge built this tube. In this tube, first Rontgen produced the X-rays. It contains F is this is filament, the C is the cap, metal cap, T is tungsten that we are going to consider anode. The filament is cathode. This is connected, the cathode is connected to a battery of negative, and the anode is connected to a battery of positive. This is we are circulating the water to cool the system because this is high energy radiation that were adopted to cool the system. Coolidge tube is in the form of a evacuated spherical bulb containing filament F, that is cathode. Anode, that is A, target. T, metal. Anode A, target T, metal cap C, that we have mentioned in the diagram, that is Coolidge tube. Cathode and anode is connected between high tension of the order of 30 kilovolts. Filament F is heated by a low tension battery. Filament F emits electrons due to the thermionic emission. The pressure inside the bulb is of the order of 10 to the power minus 5 mm of mercury. C, metal cap, used to focus the electron on the target. Target material should be high melting point. The electrons are accelerated towards the target due to high potential difference between anode and cathode. When the accelerated electron strikes the target, they interact with target material and reflect as X-rays that are shown in the diagram. It's X-ray spectrum, a plot of intensity of the various radiations so emitted as a function of wavelength is called X-ray spectrum. See, in this diagram is intensity of X-rays versus wavelength lambda. So this smooth curve is 20 kilovolts. Next, this is 30 kilovolts. This is 40 kilovolts. Next, this is 50 kilovolts. These smooth curves are called continuous X-ray spectrum. Here we will find in this curve the peaks, two peaks for 70 kilovolts. We are going to call as this is characteristics X-ray spectrum. The smooth curves are called continuous X-ray spectrum. Sharp peaks are called characteristics X-ray spectrum. The spectrum is continuous with a well-defined cutoff wavelength on lower wavelength side at lambda minimum. This is lambda minimum here, I was shown in this diagram. The value of lambda minimum changes with a change in applied voltage. The value of lambda minimum changes with the change in applied voltage. Next, continuous and characteristics X-ray spectrum. We'll see what are these continuous characteristics X-ray spectrum. During the collision of electrons with the target, most of the electrons lose their kinetic energy as heat. But under certain conditions, kinetic energy of some of the electrons will be converted into electromagnetic radiations and results in continuous and characteristics spectrum. Now we'll go details about the continuous X-ray spectrum. This is the diagram of the continuous X-ray spectrum. So we can see the center is the it contains nucleus. The first circle is the K shell, second one L shell, K, L, next M shell, and then N shell. In that shells, we know the electrons are present. In K shell, 2 electrons. In L shell, the secondary 11 electrons, so on to. This is V, say energy, or voltage, or potential. See, one of the, I will explain this. Some of the high energetic electrons penetrate the interior of the atoms of the target and interact with the positively charged nucleus. This interaction gives rise to continuous spectrum. It is also called as Bremsstrahlung or braking radiation. The electrons will be radially accelerated towards the nucleus. The electrons emerging out of the influence of the nucleus, all the energy of the electrons will be in lost in the form of photon, that is equals h nu, that was shown here, no, h nu, that's a photon. The electron loses all its energy by the time it emerges from the influence of the nuclei, that is E dash equals 0. All the energy lost by the electron appears in the form of a single photon emitted as an X-ray radiation. That's energy E equals h nu maximum. But E is equal to E into V, where E is the energy of electron, V is the applied voltage. Therefore, h nu maximum equals EV, we can write. Next, h nu maximum equals EV by h, we can write it from this equation. Therefore, nu maximum equals E by lambda minimum. We can write this also. Then we can write lambda minimum is equal to Hc by EV, where C is velocity of light, h is Planck's constant, E charge of electron, V applied voltage. Lambda is wavelength that we are going to use for the monochromatic light, that's wavelength. The minimum wavelength or lower wavelength cutoff, that is lambda minimum, does not depend on the target material. The minimum wavelength lambda, it does not depend on the target material. Next we will go for characteristics X-rays. The characteristics X-ray spectrum diagram is here and the energy levels are shown here. Here same thing as in the continuous. This is the nucleus, the target atom. The first, this circle is first K shell, next L shell, M shell, N shell, so on to. The shells contains electrons. In the first K shell 2 electrons, next L 11 electrons, next 18 electrons, so on to be there. What will happen here when the electrons, some of the high energetic electrons penetrating the interior of the atoms of the target material, among them one of the electron moving with high velocity knocks off the electron from K shell. Knocks off the electron from the K shell. See, here it knocks electron in the K shell. There is a vacancy. Then the electron will go here. The ejected electron in this side knocks off the electron from K shell. This vacancy is filled up by the nearby electron in L shell. The pair of shells between which transition takes place is as in the figure. Is as in the figure I have shown here. No, transition takes place from L to K, M to K, N to K. That is L to K, K alpha, M to K, K beta, N to K, K gamma. This things we are going to call as K series. The same manner, M to L, N to L, O to L, L alpha, L beta, L gamma. These series are called L series, so on to M series. K series of lines result due to transitions that end in K shell. Similarly, transitions end in L, M, N, so on to shells gives rise to L, M, N series, etc. The transition to K shell from L, M, N, so on to shells result in K alpha, K beta, K gamma, etc. Similarly, the transitions to L shell from MNO shells result in L alpha, L beta, L gamma. The KLM, so on to series constitutes the characteristics of X-ray spectrum. This K series, L series, M series, these constitutes the characteristics X-ray spectrum. Now we'll go for Brock's law or Brock's equation. Sometimes we're going to call as Brock's equation also. W.L. Brock noticed that the similarity between diffraction and ordinary reflection, and he obtained an equation known as Brock's law. That is 2d sin theta equals n lambda, where n order of diffraction, lambda wavelength, what radiation are going to use, that's wavelength, d distance between the planes, theta glancing angle. The Brock's law diagram, diagram or the figure here you have shown here. See, we have, this is one plane, this is another plane, one more plane here. The planes contains crystals or the atoms. In that, the first ray ray of first ray, that A, B, C. The A first ray incident at B and scatters along BC and makes an angle theta. Next, one more ray incident, one more ray DEF, the D, one more ray D incident at the plane E and scatters along EF. It also makes an angle theta here. The distance between the two planes is D and the path difference PE plus EQ. Path difference is D sin theta. D distance between the two planes and theta opposite by hypotenuse D sin theta. And here also EQ, here also path difference D sin theta. D sin theta, D sin theta equals 2D sin theta. That I will explain here. Consider a set of parallel planes of the crystal when a monochromatic X-ray beam is incident on the surface of the crystal. Consider a system of crystal planes as shown in the figure. The horizontal lines represent the planes and the dots represent the atoms in the crystal. Let D be the interplanar distance between the two planes. Consider a ray AB incident on the plane 1 at an glancing angle theta as shown and reflected from the first surface as BC. Consider another ray DE incident on the plane 2 at an glancing angle theta, passes through the crystal and reflected from the second surface as EF. Now let BE equals D. I shown here the BE, that is BE, we have drawn perpendicular here. BE is equal to D in the figure. B is equal to D, the distance between the planes. BE equals D. Draw normal to BP, BQ, to DE and EF respectively, that I have shown in the figure. Now, path difference between the two rays is PE plus EQ. Once again, I will show you in the diagram. Path difference PE plus EQ. Call equation number 1. In figure, triangle BPE, BPE, I will show once again, triangle BPE, BPE, sin theta equals PE by BE. PE is equal to BE sin theta, we can write. Similarly, in triangle BEQ, I will show you BEQ. Sin theta is equal to EQ by BE. That is EQ equals BE sin theta. But BE equals D. PE plus EQ equals 2D sin theta. Constructive interference takes place. PD, that is path difference, equals n lambda. Call equation number 3. From equations 2 and 3, n lambda equals 2D sin theta. That is 2D sin theta equals n lambda. This is Brock's law. Sometimes we are going to call as Brock's equation. Now we'll go for applications. They are used in different fields like in medicine, in industry, and in research. First, we will discuss the applications in medicine. X-rays are used to detect the defects or fractures of bones. X-rays are used for CT scan, computed tomography for dialysis. X-rays are used to treat the abnormal growth of tissues. X-rays are widely used for treat cancer. Next, we will go for the applications in industries. Used to detect the defects in the molded materials like internal cracks. They are used in inspection of industrial parts, particularly welds. X-rays are used in airport security for inspection of interior of luggage. They are used in inspection of pipelines and boilers to identify the leakages. And the applications in research, X-rays are used to study the crystal structure of various materials. X-rays are used to study the complex structure of organic molecules. X-rays are used to determine the structure of genes. X-rays provide useful data regarding non-crystalline solids in physics. Thank you.